the great passing the Buddha's last days.
Kinh Ðại Bát niết bàn.
Digha Nikaya, the long discourses, the great passing the Buddha's last days. Maha parinibbana Sutta. Foreword. The translation of the Maha parinibbana Sutta, which is offered here, is a work of collaboration, but is based upon a text prepared by Sister Vajira of Germany, to whom credit for the initial work must be given. The final revision of the text was done by Mr. Francis Story. The notes and references which, it is hoped, will help in the understanding of the text have been contributed by the Venerable Nyanaponika Mahathera, much of the material for them being taken from the Pali commentary. Every effort has been made to give a faithful rendering of the original Pali. The greater part of the sutta is straightforward narrative, but it also includes references to profound aspects of the Dhamma, which have to be understood in their precise meaning if the full import of the Buddha's last exhortations is to be conveyed. In the choice which inevitably arises between terminological exactitude and literary form, the translators have endeavored to preserve the former with as little sacrifice as possible of the latter. Those who understand the difficulties of Pali translation will appreciate that this is no easy task, and will readily overlook the absence of those literary graces which only a freer rendering would have permitted. As in previous translations, some repetitions have been omitted and some repetitive passages condensed. Buddhist Publication Society. Foreword to the revised edition. In this revised edition of Last Days of the Buddha, a number of stylistic changes have been made, aimed at improved readability. The word Bhagava, untranslated in the original edition, has been replaced by the Blessed One. Several archaic expressions, which gave a slightly biblical flavor to the diction, have been replaced by their modern counterparts. Awkward sentences have been reformulated, and greater consistency was aimed at in the rendering of certain terms and expressions. The notes have also been revised in certain respects. The titles of the chapters and sections have been supplied by the translator and editors, though the division of the work into 6 recitation units dates back to the period when the canon was transmitted orally from one generation to the next. Introduction of the 34 discourses, suttas, that make up the Digha Nikaya, collection of long discourses. Ours, the 16th, is the longest, and so altogether maintains the first place where length is concerned. It preserves the principal feature of the Buddhist sutta, insofar as it is, like others, a rehearsal of events as they have been witnessed. On account of its unique composition, however, it is, more than other suttas, capable not only of winning the affection of the pious Buddhist, as it naturally does, but also of attracting the general reader, since it is indeed a fine specimen of sacred universal literature. It gives a good general idea of the Buddha's teaching, too, even though it hardly offers anything that is not found, and often more extensively dealt with, in other suttas. At the end of his life, after almost half a century's ministry, the Master had long since taught all that was necessary for attaining the ideal. During the last period, his primary concern, therefore, was to impress on his followers the necessity of unflinchingly putting into practice those very same teachings. An appeal that could, of course, hardly fail in stirring their hearts more than ever before. The Sangha came, indeed, to witness the greatest event in its history, and was keenly aware of it, especially since the Master had announced his parinibbana 3 months ahead. The impression on the bhikkhus who flocked to him in large numbers as he was pressing northward was tremendous, and could not fail to be reflected vividly in the oral account. The Buddhist canon was originally, as is well known, altogether oral. Because of its particular import and abundance, this material was soon formed into one body, and so our sutta came to be. In this connection, it is hardly possible not to remember gratefully the Venerable Ananda. His share in the preservation of the Master's word is paramount to any other bhikkhus, and his figure is inseparable from our texts. This was to become manifest for all time in the Maha parinibbana Sutta, which is plainly unimaginable without him. For it is Ananda, and again Ananda, whom the Master addresses, having tested for 25 years his sure grasp and brilliant memory and also his indefatigable personal devotion. But Ananda too, here more than elsewhere, by his constant queries, worries, and amazements, becomes without intending it a central figure beside the Master himself, which undoubtedly increases the attractiveness of the text. Thus, then, Ananda, gentle and pleasant as his name, and yet almost throughout his career, incurring the reproach of the brethren, was immortalized along with his beloved Master, and as we may add along with his strange position between praise and blame, assuming mystic character in the third chapter. The third chapter, almost exclusively, is devoted to depicting the circumstances connected with the Master's relinquishment of life, which is the dramatic culmination of events. It overwhelmingly drives home the purely metaphysical significance of the parinibbana, or at least ought to do so. For the Buddha neither succumbed to his fatal illness nor did he give way to the appeal of Mara, which is identical with the non-appeal of Ananda, but sovereignly let go of existence at a timely hour. Just as 45 years earlier, on becoming fully enlightened, he had duly taken upon himself the wearisome task of teaching men. This fact is most thought-provoking, and consistently leads to the conclusion that by his parinibbana, indeed, the Buddha bore the last and highest possible testimony to his teaching, which permits of no lingering inclination to self-preservation and continuance, but on the contrary reaches the highest exaltation ending it all. The Master's parinibbana is, therefore, the one sorrowful event in the history of Buddhism that turns out, in its true meaning, to be really the most blissful. Sister Vajira, Ceylon, May 1961. Maha parinibbana Sutta, Part 1, in Magadha. Thus have I heard. Once the Blessed One dwelled at Rajagaya, on the hill called Vulture's Peak. At that time the king of Magadha, Ajatasattu, son of the Videhi queen, desired to wage war against the Vajis. He spoke in this fashion: "These Vajis, powerful and glorious as they are, I shall annihilate them, I shall make them perish, I shall utterly destroy them." And Ajatasattu, the king of Magadha, addressed his chief minister, the Brahmin Vasikara, saying, "Come, Brahmin, go to the Blessed One, pay homage in my name at his feet, wish him good health, strength, ease, vigor, and comfort, and speak thus: O Lord, Ajatasattu, the king of Magadha, desires to wage war against the Vajis. He has spoken in this fashion: These Vajis, powerful and glorious as they are, I shall annihilate them, I shall make them perish, I shall utterly destroy them. And whatever the Blessed One should answer you, keep it well in mind and inform me, for Tathagatas do not speak falsely." "Very well, sire," said the Brahmin Vasikara in assent to Ajatasattu, king of Magadha. And he ordered a large number of magnificent carriages to be made ready. Mounted one himself, and accompanied by the rest, drove out to Rajagaya towards Vulture's Peak. He went by carriage as far as the carriage could go. Then dismounting, he approached the Blessed One on foot. After exchanging courteous greetings with the Blessed One, together with many pleasant words, he sat down at one side and addressed the Blessed One thus: "Venerable Gautama, Ajatasattu, the king of Magadha, pays homage at the feet of the Venerable Gautama, and wishes him good health, strength, ease, vigor, and comfort. He desires to wage war against the Vajis, and he has spoken in this fashion. These Vajis, powerful and glorious as they are, I shall annihilate them, I shall make them perish, I shall utterly destroy them. Conditions of a nation's welfare. At that time the Venerable Ananda was standing behind the Blessed One, fanning him, and the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis have frequent gatherings, and are their meetings well attended?" "I have heard, Lord, that this is so. So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis assemble and disperse peacefully and attend to their affairs in concord?" "I have heard, Lord, that they do. So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis neither enact new decrees nor abolish existing ones, but proceed in accordance with their ancient constitutions?" "I have heard, Lord, that they do. So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis show respect, honor, esteem, and veneration towards their elders and think it worthwhile to listen to them?" "I have heard, Lord, that they do. So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis refrain from abducting women and maidens of good families and from detaining them?" "I have heard, Lord, that they refrain from doing so." "So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis show respect, honor, esteem, and veneration towards their shrines, both those within the city and those outside it, and do not deprive them of the due offerings as given and made to them formerly?" "I have heard, Lord, that they do venerate their shrines, and that they do not deprive them of their offerings." "So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." "What have you heard, Ananda? Do the Vajis duly protect and guard the arahats, so that those who have not come to the realm yet might do so, and those who have already come might live there in peace?" "I have heard, Lord, that they do. So long, Ananda, as this is the case, the growth of the Vajis is to be expected, not their decline." And the Blessed One addressed the Brahmin Vasikara in these words: "Once, Brahmin, I dwelled at Vasali, at the Sarantita shrine, and there it was that I taught the Vajis these 7 conditions, leading to a nation's welfare. So long, Brahmin, as these endure among the Vajis, and the Vajis are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline." Thereupon the Brahmin Vasikara spoke thus to the Blessed One: "If the Vajis, Venerable Gautama, were endowed with only one or another of these conditions, leading to welfare, their growth would have to be expected, not their decline. What then of all the 7? No harm, indeed, can be done to the Vajis in battle by Magadha's king, Ajatasattu, except through treachery or discord. Well, then, Venerable Gautama, we will take our leave, for we have much to perform, much work to do. Do as now seems fit to you, Brahmin." And the Brahmin Vasikara, the chief minister of Magadha, approving of the Blessed One's words and delighted by them, rose from his seat and departed. Welfare of the Bhikkhus. Then, soon after Vasikara's departure, the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: "Go now, Ananda, and assemble in the hall of audience as many bhikkhus as live around Rajagaya." "Very well, Lord." And the Venerable Ananda did as he was requested and informed the Blessed One: "The community of bhikkhus is assembled, Lord." Now let the Blessed One do as he wishes." Thereupon the Blessed One rose from his seat, went up to the hall of audience, took his appointed seat there, and addressed the bhikkhus thus: "7 conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say." "So be it, Lord." The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline, bhikkhus, so long as they assemble frequently and in large numbers, meet and disperse peacefully and attend to the affairs of the Sangha in concord, so long as they appoint no new rules, and do not abolish the existing ones, but proceed in accordance with the code of training, Vinaya, laid down, so long as they show respect, honor, esteem, and veneration towards the elder bhikkhus, those of long standing, long gone forth, the fathers and leaders of the Sangha, and think it worthwhile to listen to them, so long as they do not come under the power of the craving that leads to fresh becoming, so long as they cherish the forest depths for their dwellings, so long as they establish themselves in mindfulness, so that virtuous brethren of the order who have not come yet might do so, and those already come might live in peace, so long, bhikkhus, as these 7 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. 7 further conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say. So be it, Lord. The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline, bhikkhus, so long as they do not delight in, are not pleased with, and are not fond of activities, talk, sleep, and company, so long as they do not harbor, do not come under the spell of evil desires, have no bad friends, associates, or companions, and so long as they do not stop halfway on account of some trifling achievement, so long, bhikkhus, as these 7 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. 7 good qualities. 7 further conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say. So be it, Lord. The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline, bhikkhus, so long as they shall have faith, so long as they have moral shame and fear of misconduct, are proficient in learning, resolute, mindful, and wise. So long, bhikkhus, as these 7 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus, and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. 7 factors of enlightenment. 7 further conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say. So be it, Lord. The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline, bhikkhus, so long as they cultivate the 7 factors of enlightenment, that is, mindfulness, investigation into phenomena, energy, bliss, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. So long, bhikkhus, as these 7 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus, and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. 7 perceptions. 7 further conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say. So be it, Lord. The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline, bhikkhus, so long as they cultivate the perception of impermanence, of egolessness, of the body's impurity, of the body's wretchedness, of relinquishment, of dispassion, and of cessation. So long, bhikkhus, as these 7 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus, and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. 6 conditions to be remembered. 6 further conditions leading to welfare I shall set forth, bhikkhus. Listen and pay heed to what I shall say. So be it, Lord. The growth of the bhikkhus is to be expected, not their decline. Bhikkhus, so long as they attend on each other with loving kindness in deed, word, and thought, both openly and in private, so long as in respect of what they receive as due offerings, even the contents of their alms bowls, they do not make use of them without sharing them with virtuous members of the community. So long as, in company with their brethren, they train themselves, openly and in private, in the rules of conduct, which are complete and perfect, spotless and pure, liberating, praised by the wise, uninfluenced by mundane concerns, and favorable to concentration of mind, and in company with their brethren, preserve, openly and in private, the insight that is noble and liberating, and leads one who acts upon it to the utter destruction of suffering. So long, bhikkhus, as these 6 conditions leading to welfare endure among the bhikkhus, and the bhikkhus are known for it, their growth is to be expected, not their decline. Counsel to the bhikkhus. And the Blessed One, living at Rajagaya, at the hill called Vulture's Peak, often gave counsel to the bhikkhus thus: such and such is virtue, such and such is concentration, and such is wisdom. Great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of concentration when it is fully developed by virtuous conduct. Great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of wisdom when it is fully developed by concentration, utterly freed from the taints of lust, becoming. And ignorance is the mind that is fully developed in wisdom. When the Blessed One had stayed at Rajagaya as long as he pleased, he addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: Come, Ananda, let us go to Ambalathika. So be it, Lord. And the Blessed One took up his abode at Ambalathika, together with a large community of bhikkhus. At Ambalathika the Blessed One came to stay in the king's rest house, and there, too, the Blessed One often gave counsel to the bhikkhus thus: such is virtue, such is concentration, and such is wisdom. Great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of concentration when it is fully developed by virtuous conduct. Great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of wisdom when it is fully developed by concentration, utterly freed from the taints of lust, becoming. And ignorance is the mind that is fully developed in wisdom. When the Blessed One had stayed at Ambalathika as long as he pleased, he addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: Come, Ananda, let us go to Nalanda. So be it, Lord. And the Blessed One took up his abode at Nalanda together with a large community of bhikkhus, and came to stay in the mango grove of Pavarika. Sariputa's lions roar. Then the Venerable Sariputa went to the Blessed One, respectfully greeted him, sat down at one side, and spoke thus to him: This faith, Lord, I have in the Blessed One, that there has not been, there will not be, nor is there now, another recluse or Brahmin more exalted in enlightenment than the Blessed One. Lofty indeed is this speech of yours, Sariputa, and lordly. A bold utterance, a veritable sounding of the lion's roar. But how is this, Sariputa? Those arahats, fully enlightened ones of the past, do you have direct personal knowledge of all those blessed ones, as to their virtue, their meditation, their wisdom, their abiding, and their emancipation? Not so, Lord. Then how is this, Sariputa? Those arahats, fully enlightened ones of the future, do you have direct personal knowledge of all those blessed ones, as to their virtue, their meditation, their wisdom, their abiding, and their emancipation? Not so, Lord. Then how is this, Sariputa? Of me, who am at present the Arahat, the fully enlightened one, do you have direct personal knowledge as to my virtue, my meditation, my wisdom, my abiding, and my emancipation? Not so, Lord. Then it is clear, Sariputa, that you have no such direct personal knowledge of the Arahats, the fully enlightened ones of the past, the future, and the present. How then dare you set forth a speech so lofty and lordly, an utterance so bold? A veritable sounding of the lion's roar, saying, "This faith, Lord, I have in the Blessed One, that there has not been, there will not be, nor is there now another recluse or Brahmin more exalted in enlightenment than the Blessed One." No such direct personal knowledge, indeed, is mine, Lord, of the Arahats, the fully enlightened ones of the past, the future, and the present. And yet I have come to know the lawfulness of the Dhamma. Suppose, Lord, a king's frontier fortress was strongly fortified, with strong ramparts and turrets. And it had a single gate, and there was a gatekeeper, intelligent, experienced, and prudent, who would keep out the stranger but allow the friend to enter. As he patrols the path that leads all around the fortress, he does not perceive a hole or fissure in the ramparts even big enough to allow a cat to slip through. So he comes to the conclusion, whatever grosser living things are to enter or leave this city, they will all have to do so just by this gate. In the same way, Lord, I have come to know the lawfulness of the Dhamma. For, Lord, all the blessed ones, Arahats, fully enlightened ones of the past had abandoned the 5 hindrances, the mental defilements that weaken wisdom, had well established their minds in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, had duly cultivated the 7 factors of enlightenment, and were fully enlightened in unsurpassed, supreme enlightenment. And, Lord, all the blessed ones, Arahats, fully enlightened ones of the future, will abandon the 5 hindrances, the mental defilements that weaken wisdom, will well establish their minds in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, will duly cultivate the 7 factors of enlightenment, and will be fully enlightened in unsurpassed, supreme enlightenment. And the Blessed One too, Lord, being at present the Arahat, the fully enlightened one, has abandoned the 5 hindrances, the mental defilements that weaken wisdom, has well established his mind in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, has duly cultivated the 7 factors of enlightenment, and is fully enlightened in unsurpassed, supreme enlightenment. And also in Nalanda, in the mango grove of Pavarika, the Blessed One often gave counsel to the bhikkhus thus: such and such is virtue, such and such is concentration, and such is wisdom. Great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of concentration when it is fully developed. By virtuous conduct, great becomes the fruit, great is the gain of wisdom when it is fully developed by concentration. Utterly freed from the taints of lust, becoming, and ignorance is the mind that is fully developed in wisdom. When the Blessed One had stayed at Nalanda as long as he pleased, he addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: "Come, Ananda, let us go to Pataligama." "So be it, Lord." And the Blessed One took up his abode at Pataligama together with a large community of bhikkhus. Then the devotees of Pataligama came to know, the Blessed One, they say, has arrived at Pataligama. And they approached the Blessed One, respectfully greeted him, sat down at one side, and addressed him thus: "May the Blessed One, Lord, kindly visit our council hall." And the Blessed One consented by his silence. Knowing the Blessed One's consent, the devotees of Pataligama rose from their seats, respectfully saluted him, and keeping their right sides towards him, departed for the council hall. Then they prepared the council hall by covering the floor all over, arranging seats and water, and setting out an oil lamp. Having done this, they returned to the Blessed One, respectfully greeted him, and standing at one side, announced, "Lord, the council hall is ready, with the floor covered all over, seats and water prepared, and an oil lamp has been set out. Let the Blessed One come, Lord, at his convenience." And the Blessed One got ready, and taking his bowl and robe, went to the council hall together with the company of bhikkhus. After rinsing his feet, the Blessed One entered the council hall and took his seat close to the middle pillar, facing east. The community of bhikkhus, after rinsing their feet, also entered the council hall and took seats near the western wall, facing east, so that the Blessed One was before them. And the devotees of Pataligama, after rinsing their feet and entering the council hall, sat down near the eastern wall, facing west, so that the Blessed One was in front of them. The fruits of an immoral and immoral life. Thereupon the Blessed One addressed the devotees of Pataligama thus: the immoral man, householders, by falling away from virtue, encounters 5 perils: great loss of wealth through heedlessness, an evil reputation, a timid and troubled demeanor in every society, be it that of nobles, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics, death and bewilderment, and, at the breaking up of the body after death, rebirth in a realm of misery, in an unhappy state, in the nether world, in hell. 5 blessings, householders, accrue to the righteous man through his practice of virtue: great increase of wealth through his diligence, a favorable reputation, a confident deportment, without timidity, in every society, be it that of nobles, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics, a serene death, and, at the breaking up of the body after death, rebirth in a happy state, in a heavenly world. And the Blessed One spent much of the night instructing the devotees of Pataligama in the Dhamma, rousing, edifying, and gladdening them. After which he dismissed them, saying, "The night is far advanced, householders. You may go at your convenience." "So be it, Lord." And the devotees of Pataligama rose from their seats, respectfully saluted the Blessed One, and keeping their right sides towards him, departed. And the Blessed One, soon after their departure, retired into privacy. At that time Sunita and Vasikara, the chief ministers of Magadha, were building a fortress at Pataligama in defense against the Vajis. And deities in large numbers, counted in thousands, had taken possession of sites at Pataligama. In the region where deities of great power prevailed, officials of great power were bent on constructing edifices, and where deities of medium power and lesser power prevailed, officials of medium and lesser power were bent on constructing edifices. And the Blessed One saw with the heavenly eye, pure and transcending the faculty of men, the deities, counted in thousands, where they had taken possession of sites in Pataligama. And rising before the night was spent, towards dawn, the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ananda thus: "Who is it, Ananda, that is erecting a city at Pataligama?" "Sunita and Vasikara, Lord, the chief ministers of Magadha, are building a fortress at Pataligama, in defense against the Vajis." It is, Ananda, as if Sunita and Vasikara had taken counsel with the gods of the 33. For I beheld, Ananda, with the heavenly eye, pure and transcending the faculty of men, a large number of deities, counted in thousands, that have taken possession of sites at Pataligama. In the region where deities of great power prevail, officials of great power are bent on constructing edifices, and where deities of medium and lesser power prevail, officials of medium and lesser power are bent on constructing edifices. Truly, Ananda, as far as the Aryan race extends and trade roots spread, this will be the foremost city Pataliputa, a trade center. But Pataliputa, Ananda, will be assailed by 3 perils: fire, water, and dissension. Then Sunita and Vasikara went to the Blessed One, and after courteous greeting to the Blessed One, and exchanging many pleasant words, they stood at one side and addressed him thus: "May the Venerable Gautama please accept our invitation for tomorrow's meal, together with the community of bhikkhus." And the Blessed One consented by his silence. Knowing the Blessed One's consent, Sunita and Vasikara departed for their own abodes, where they had choice food, hard and soft, prepared. And when it was time, they announced to the Blessed One, "It is time, Venerable Gautama, the meal is ready." Thereupon the Blessed One got ready in the forenoon, and taking bowl and robe, he went together with the community of bhikkhus to the abode of Sunita and Vasikara, where he took the seat prepared for him. And Sunita and Vasikara themselves attended on the community of bhikkhus headed by the Buddha, and served them with choice food, hard and soft. When the Blessed One had finished his meal and had removed his hand from the bowl, they took low seats and sat down at one side. And the Blessed One thanked them with these stanzas. Wherever he may dwell, the prudent man ministers to the chaste and virtuous. And having to these worthy ones made gifts, he shares his merits with the local devas. And so revered, they honor him in turn, are gracious to him even as a mother is towards her only son. And he who thus enjoys the Deva's grace, and is by them beloved, good fortune sees. After this, the Blessed One rose from his seat and departed, crossing the Ganges. Then Sunita and Vasikara followed behind the Blessed One, step by step, saying, "Through whichever gate the recluse Gautama will depart today, that we will name the Gautama Gate, and the ford by which he will cross the river Ganges shall be named the Gautama Ford." And so it came to pass, where the gate was concerned. But when the Blessed One came to the river Ganges, it was full to the brim, so that crows could drink from it. And some people went in search of a boat or float, while others tied up a raft, because they desired to get across. But the Blessed One, as quickly as a strong man might stretch out his bent arm or draw in his outstretched arm, vanished from this side of the river Ganges, and came to stand on the yonder side. And the Blessed One saw the people who desired to cross searching for a boat or float, while others were binding rafts. And then the Blessed One, seeing them thus, gave forth the solemn utterance, "They who have bridged the ocean vast, leaving the lowlands far behind, while others still their frail rafts bind, are saved by wisdom unsurpassed.